What's going on, YouTube modeling community? Pappy here at West Georgia Rides and Customs. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Unified Scale Auto Content Creators of YouTube, better known as the USACC Group Build. I want to give y'all a little progress today of what's been going on here in the shop. We've had a lot going on as far as in the last few videos showing y'all how I like to put the back halves in. We still got a little bit to do more on the back half, but with that being said, we're going to go forward with the interior portion of the build. And with that being said, we're going to, the first thing I always like to do, let me get the engine. Another thing that I did with the engine was I went ahead and mocked up the headers that I'm going to use on this, and these are the kit headers out of the Revell kit. We just tacked those in with the with some white glue. Actually, I use canopy glue when I kind of mock up things. Just a little dab right there to get it to hold on, let it dry. It takes probably 5 minutes for it to dry and then move forward. But got the engine is all pretty much mocked up what's going to be needed for just to check things. We'll show you right here as far as, moving mat here. I keep talking about the locator pin. You can see that right there on the back of the tail end of the transmission. And then this is the indicator where the indicator pin locks into. So that tells me that the positioning of the engine, the kit engine, is where it's supposed to be at. And that's why I like to use the kit front half as far as in all the kits and the engine itself. That way I know the placement of where the kit manufacturer wanted it to sit at works. And putting the engine into that locator tab and sitting it down in where it locates out on the locator pins up here in the front as far as the engine mounts, everything lines up perfectly. And with that being said, I'm gonna leave that engine right there. It looks pretty cool. Let me grab something right here so I can we'll leave that engine right there. Excuse me. What we did earlier in the earlier videos was I showed y'all how I mark off the opening for the blower, how to measure properly for that. And we did, however, let's give me a hand there, Scully. Maybe Saturday, but it's not your day off. What I did was I had to, and I told y'all earlier that I didn't think it was going to be long enough from here to here, because when I took my measurements from the back of the blower to the front of the blower and then the pulleys that I'm going to use, I did have to extend this opening a little bit. So I just took a big X-Acto blade, chopped out a little bit, carved that out a little bit, and then shaped it up with the 100 grit sanding stick. Got everything tapered in, so everything looks pretty good on that, and I think I'm satisfied with that opening. So I'm sure I'm ready to I will take another measurement once I get the pulley onto the blower and on mock up again, and we'll check those positions as well. So I'll set this over here to the other side. The other thing that we did, and I can't stress enough when in any of your builds, especially if you're kit bashing a lot of different parts and stuff together from, say, other kits or aftermarket kits like what we're using here as far as the back half from MCB products. Always mock up things before you even start assembly. The canopy glue, and what I like to use, and I keep talking about white glue, you can use Elmer's. I use the Zap canopy glue. I just put a couple of drops down, just take a toothpick, put it in where you want it at, just a couple of drops, and it holds in real nicely where you're going to need it. I chose to use the seats out of the kit right here, which these are really nice seats. I really like these, a lot of detail to them. So I glued these up this morning, got them all, got them together. They're kind of rough right now, so I'll eliminate all the seam lines down through here. That's one of my pet peeves on a kit, or when I look at other builds and stuff, that's one of the things I look for is those seams. I know that that's always a kind of either a gap or you get squeeze out or what have you. But I kind of I like when you look into a build to see that seam line disappear. I don't even like to see that. And if I get asked to judge at shows and stuff, that's one of the flaws I look at as far as on the interior. If you're looking in the passenger side or the driver's side door, if I see that seam line right there, that's points off. I'm sorry. But one of the tricks that I like to do is when I glue these up, I take a clamp, and I've got these little small spring clamps. You can get these at any of the home hardware stores like Home Depot or Lowe's. And when I glue them up, I just take the blue tube, or actually I use the Tamiya. I'll smear where the seam is going to be at with glue, put that piece down like that, and then clamp that down. And for about 5 minutes, once it pretty much gets adhered to the other side, I remove the clamp, and then I take another little smaller clamp and put it on that. And then I'll just set them to the side for an hour or two. I'll come back, and of course there's going to be a little squeeze out right here along the joint line. I'll take the number 11 blade and just kind of scrape that off and get that smoothed down pretty closely. Then once a couple of days went by, I'll take a sanding stick and I'll sand that down really, really fine. Up here at the top where you usually get a little squeeze out, same measure right there. Just sand that down with scrape it down just a little bit. There's a seam line, or actually a seat contour right about where that blade's at right there. I usually start right there and just kind of scrape back each way. And then once we sand that out, and if you sand that little contour line out, just take you one of these razor saws right here and just kind of redefine that. Just with the razor saw, open that up a little bit, and that gives you that established contour line back. Okay, now we were talking earlier, let me set the seats out of here. We were talking earlier, of course, about mocking up things. One of the things I was talking about, I like to mock up the interior. And then, of course, as far as the door cards, the floor pan, I did have to cut out a good bit on this floor pan that goes in here. So with that being said, we're just kind of looking at where it will be positioned at in the frame as far as the interior card. There's quite a bit of difference between where these big fat fender wells are at and where they're going to meet at back here in the passenger seat area. So I'm going to have to, and I've already taken the made me an interior back package tray as far as back here that'll drop down in there. What I'll do is I'll take some really careful measurements based upon the contour of the interior cards and everything. Make me a couple of marks back here in the very back on this side. Take a straight edge, and I'll just start cutting that out until I get everything to fit nicely in there. And of course, it's going to take out some of this armrest right here, but there's not going to be a back passenger seat in this thing. It's just going to be, and what that'll do, that I may be able to either cut this, I might even be able to take that armrest off and move it forward a little bit prior to cutting this off down through here. So we'll take a couple of good measurements today and check that out. I always tell y'all things that my daddy used to teach me was measure twice, cut once, because you can't ever add that stuff back in once you cut it. So, but we're going to get a lot of that done today, and I've got a few errands and stuff I need to do, but hopefully we'll make a little bit more progress on the interior, and then we'll jump off into probably the next series of this build into kind of getting the ride height established on the 4-link suspension for the rear, and then what we're going to do as far as with the rear end, the 4-link, and the whole 9 yards, and getting those big fat Pro Street meats to fit up in this tub. So, well, I hope hope y'all, if y'all got any questions, again, drop them down in the comments below, and I'll answer those as quick. I've had a lot of response to this series as far as it's really helping a lot of you out. A lot of you have posted links in your own channels regarding this series, and I greatly appreciate all of you that have done that. So But hope everybody has a great weekend. Get some well-deserved rest and some bench time, as I always say. Go over to MCV Products, Scully. Give him a hand over here. You ain't doing nothing. I'll give you the rest of the day off now. Go over to MCV Products, mcvproducts.net. Pick you up some of that great 3D printed stuff that Matthew sells over there. He's a ProTech dealer as well. Pick you up some of that good aftermarket stuff from ProTech that they sell also. And if you're sitting at the bench, ain't got anything to do, sit and listen to the Model Car Podcast. Listen to Luca and Matt, BG and all the guys, all those, Chuck and all them. Listen to their annex. They just dropped a new episode this week. So give them a listen. And we're going to get a little bit more done on this thing this afternoon. So as I always say, if y'all can dream it, build it. God bless y'all. Pappy out of here.